This conference will now be recorded.
Discuss the certain aspects of liquid extraction. Like previously, we have discussed the single stage operations. Now I will focus on the multi-stage operations. In multi-stage operations, you know that the cross current operation also I gave certain introduction in the last class. Then I'll continue with that uh, multi-stage cross current liquid extraction, and then we will also see the counter current extraction. So I will not take much time, and because today I have a PhD Viva, so maybe 45 minutes I'll take and I'll finish it up. Okay, so please be focused on these uh, uh, the 1 minute. Yeah, this is a multi-stage cross current. As I told in the previous class that instead of using a single stage, if you use the multi-stage cross current operation, then you can consume very less amount of solvent for the fixed separation. Or if you have a same amount of the solvent in a single stage as well as in the multi-stage cross current, the percentage of separation can be achieved more in case of the multi-stage cross current. So extraction percentage can be improved. So as you have seen in the single stage, we have only having one stage where the feed and solvent are entering, and this round indicates one mixture and one settler. So the feed and solvent will be mixed together in the mixture. Then later they will go to the settler. In the settler, they will be separating into the extract and raffinate. So whatever raffinate is coming from the first stage, it will enter into the second stage, and then from the second stage some extract will be obtained. So those extract will join the extract phase which is coming from the first stage. Then the raffinate will go to the third stage, and then from the third stage to fourth stage and the fifth stage, so on and so forth. So like that, all the extract phases which are coming from various stages will be collected, and you will have a composited extract, and in which the percentage of solute will be very high compared to the raffinate, because the raffinate is getting reduced its concentrations stage by stage, and finally it will reaches to the required desired concentration in the raffinate. So that is how the feed will be treated with the solvent. And finally, so how do you calculate the required number of stages in this case? So you either you can use the ternary diagram, or as I told, solvent free coordinates which can be drawn on an XY diagram. So in the first stage, the feed is entering to the stage one, then the solvent is added. Solvent is having this much composition. Then you can draw the FS line. FS line on that, upon the addition of the quantity, certain quantity of the solvent, then you can calculate the XM as I told in the previous class. Then you can identify the M point. Through the M point, you can draw one tie line, so that you will get the E1 and R1. So now you can calculate the concentration of the solute in the E1, concentration of the solute in R1 as XR and YE. Then this X1 will be the feed to the second stage, so that it will be added again to the S point. Then again M2 will result based on the how much solvent you are adding. If you add less solvent, the M will be somewhere here. If you add more solvent, the M will be down. So if you add sufficient solvent, then it will be in between. Then again you can add you can draw one tie line which goes to the M2 point. Then you can proceed with in the similar way. R2 will be again added to the S, so you'll get this one. then again you will get the M2. So you can get, if you satisfy with this concentration which is left over in the solute, then you can stop the number of operations, like that many number of stages are required. And that means 1, 2, 3. How many tie lines you have obtained? So each tie line indicates one stage. So you can say that there are 3 stages are required. If you want further reduction, then you can also add this one and find out M you can draw. So see, the concentration in the raffinate is coming down on this raffinate phase curve, and it may reaches to the very nearer to this one, so that the if you have a number of stages, infinite number of stages, then you may achieve the 0% concentration of the C in the raffinate. And similarly in the extract also it is coming down, but however it is more than this one, because you have taken a case that the distribution coefficient, which is equal to the YE by XR, is greater than 1. So that's why you are getting this slopes. So again it is composited. So you will get the composited concentration of the solute in the extract phase. So in that way you can able to do the number of stages estimation, either based on the amount of solvent available with you, or whatever concentration of the solute is required in the final raffinate. Maybe this is the desired, or they may give certain solvent and ask you to find out in a 3 stages what would be the final concentration. So in that way also you can solve the problems. Otherwise, if you have this one, then till you get that one, you can go on adding and finally find out how many number of stages are required. So this is also a similar diagram, which is like a HXY diagram, which can also be drawn. So in the similar way you can draw. So I will not explain that. Now coming to the very interesting case where the feeding solvent, that solvent A, which is with C. So F means A plus C, A plus C. But if you take the A, that is the feed solvent, and then you take another organic solvent, that is extract solvent. If A and B are completely insoluble in each other, then the case will become very simple. A and B are completely insoluble in each other, the case will become very simple. Why? A quantity, because it is not dissolving in the B, and B is also not dissolving the A quantity in the raffinate phases, which are coming from different stages, will be constant. So that is equal to A. So A is the kgs of the feed solvent, which is there in the feed. So that won't change. A value doesn't change. Similarly, B is not uh, getting dissolved in A. So whatever B is entering here along with the organic solvent, same B will come out. So if you give the B1, here also you will get the B1. If you give the B2 here also you will get B2. And if you give the B3, you will get here B3, because they are not, they are immiscible in each other. So under such condition, we'll take these coordinates x prime and y prime. What is x prime? X prime is equal to x by 1 minus x. So x is what? The concentration of the solute. That means weight fraction of the solute in the feed or in the raffinate phases. If you take this horizontal line will contain the stream which is called raffinate. This may be final raffinate. Feed can be called initial raffinate. So initial raffinate and final raffinate will have the same A, but x prime is equal to x by 1 minus x. So what is this? X is the weight of C divided by weight of C divided by weight of A will give you the x prime. Weight of C divided by weight of A will give the X prime. Similarly, in the extract phase, which are vertical at each stage, so they are called extract streams. In the extract streams, the Y prime can be found out Y by, that is the weight of C divided by weight of B, which is the organic solvent. So this will become typically weight ratios. Instead of having weight fractions, we are converting them into the weight ratios. Then what is the advantage that when you multiply with weight of the solvent into the weight of C by weight of solvent, then you'll get how much of solute is entering. So here, if you take this much of solute is entering, and then this much of the solute along with the solvent is added to that, then finally they become like this. So what will happen if stage 1, if n is equal to 1, then minus a by b1 is equal to ys prime minus y1 prime. Because n is equal to 1, it will become y1 prime divided by xn minus 1 prime, that is xf prime, which is entering into the nth stage. So xf prime is xn minus 1 prime minus xn prime, that is x1 prime. So this will be resulting from the material balance of the solute. And if you see this one, this is a typically a straight line equation, and which will have a slope of minus a by b n. Then if you add here the ys prime and the xf prime, so this is the point, and there should be one line which moves towards the equilibrium line with the slope of minus a by b1. So this is the line which you can draw with the slope of minus a by bn. So how much of a is there? You will be knowing that. And how much of solvent you are adding, that will be known to you. If you add more solvent, then you will get like this slope. If you have a less solvent, then you will get a slope like this. So anyhow, minus a by b1 is known, and this is the starting point because ys prime and xf prime both are known. So you can put this point and draw one line which is called operating line of the stage 1, which is having a slope of minus a by b1. So from that you will get y1 prime, then x1 prime. So you are getting here y1 prime and x1 prime, and y1 prime will be going along with the extract and x1 prime with a, because this doesn't change. A and this much of solute concentration will enter into the stage 2. In the again you are adding some more solvent to treat further, then you'll get y2 x2. Then again you can have a slope of the operating line which is having a value of minus a by b2. Then you can find out y2 prime and x2 prime, and similarly you can also draw for the third stage. Okay, so like that you can able to find out the number of stages which are required for the getting the x3, because it is being removed from xm prime to x3 prime. So you can see how many stages are required. If you maintain in each stage equal solvent, then again you can find out the requirement of the solvent, because that is b1 by a will give you the solvent requirement for the first stage per 1 kg of the feed solvent, and b2 by a which will give the solvent requirement in the second stage per 1 kg of the feed solvent, and b1 b3 is the solvent requirement in the third stage per 1 kg of the solvent which is there in the feed. So you can find out total solvent how much consumed to reach this value from this one to this one by arranging few number of stages. If you want to have 3 stages, per 3 stages what would be the total solvent requirement can be estimated. Okay, so this I will explain you in a uh, uh, animated graph. So you, all of you please and see this and carefully understand, because this is very important. Most of the cases which we see is where the feed solvent and extract solvent both are completely insoluble in each other, because it is they we generally prefer A and B should not be miscible. If they are miscible, B is contaminating with A and A is contaminating with B. Instead of having the C quantity and a little A quantity will be there in the B rich phase, a little B quantity will be there in the A rich phase. So that's why the ideal case is A and B should be completely insoluble in each other. So you see, take the first stage. In this stage, a feed enters, and then the solvent B1 is added here. The solvent B1 is added. Okay, then they will be coming as Y1 prime and X1 prime. So the slope would be A by B1. So how to draw? Because you know the X prime and YS prime. So this is the YS prime. This is hello. Please unmute yourself. Hello. Who is that? Yeah. Yeah. See that this is YS prime is the initial concentration of the solute in the feed. So then XA prime. So at XA prime, you can have a point here. From this point, you have to draw one line with the slope of A by B1. So you can draw that line. So this line give you on equilibrium curve the points like see if you draw the slope with the A by B1, then you will get the Y1 prime here and then the corresponding X1 prime here. So these are the concentrations of the solute here, which is going into the second stage, and Y1 prime is the concentration of the extract which is coming out. Okay, so you'll get Y1 prime and X1 prime. Then now there will be entering into the second stage. This is the second stage. To the second stage, this will be the feed and this will be the solvent. So feed is having this much concentration, and again the solvent is having the same concentration, because the solvent which is available, that has been divided. So you have the starting point here. From this point again you have to draw a line. So when you draw this line, again you will get Y2 prime and X2 prime. How do you get uh, with the slope of minus A by B2, you have drawn that line. So you will be getting now Y2 prime. Then similarly, you will get X2 prime. Okay, this is how you will get the concentration of the extract phase, concentration of the raffinate phase. That means Y2 prime and X2 prime will be obtained. Then once you obtain this one again, it will be going into the third stage. So it will go to the third stage. In the third stage, this will be the feed, and again the solvent maybe quantity is less, but the concentration is same. So this is the starting point. So from this starting point again, you have to draw one line with the slope of minus A by B3. So with minus A by B3, again you draw a line. This slope is minus A by B3. Now you will get this extract concentration, that is Y3 prime, and final raffinate. If you use only 3 stages, this is X3 prime. So in that way, you will get 3 stages to remove the solute which is having X prime to the X3 prime. How many stages are there? 3 stages with B1, B2, B3 quantities of the solvent per 1 kg of the feed solvent. This is organic solvent. B indicates organic solvent. Then you will get that. So now see how many stages you have used. 1, 2, 3. 3 stages you have used. Then how much of solvent is obtained? For the 3 stages, total solvent requirement is B1 plus B2 plus B3. Because if you reverse these values, slope values, you will be having same denominator A, and this will be, numerator will be B1, B2, B3. The summation of B1 plus B2 plus B3 is the total solvent requirement for 3-stage operation. For example, if you want to adopt a single stage operation, then you have to have xf prime to x3 prime and y3 prime. So this would be the operating line. This is the operating line. So what would be the slope of it? The slope of it will be, you can just see that, minus a by b. The slope of this line, if you use the single stage instead of 3 stages, then the slope of the operating line would be very, very slant, so it is being reduced. Therefore, if you use a, if one stage is adopted, solvent requirement is what? B. Instead of B1, B2, B3, you have used the B. So this B value, if you compare, that would be much, much greater than the summation of all the solvent requirement values in all these stages. So you can realize that the solvent requirement can be reduced drastically by using the cross current operation. Is it clear? Yeah. Similarly, next, let us go to the multi-stage counter current extraction. So in the cross current extraction, you have used the solvent by dividing into the 3 or number of stages, that many parts. But here what will happen? The feed is moving from stage to stage and comes out as a raffinate. From the raffinate end, the solvent will enter and it goes stage to stage in a opposite direction and it comes out as an extract. If you carefully observe, the feed which is entering will have XF value as its weight fraction. The extract which is coming out will have Y1 as its composition value, weight fraction value. So XF Y1 values are very high. So you can say that this is the solute high concentration end. And if you see here, the feed which is coming out from the last stage, that is called nth stage, will have Rn and Xn. So Xn value after getting removed of the solute will become very less. And similarly, Ys, the solvent will have very low concentration, and in certain cases this Ys may be 0. So this is low solute concentration end. Then you can call it as a high concentration end and low concentration end. That means the stages here will have a high solute concentrations and the here will have low solute concentrations. And also the feed is entering this side, then you can call it as a feed end. This end is called feed end, and this end you are getting out the raffinate out, and also the solvent is entering. You can call it as a solvent end, or certain cases raffinate end and extract end. So this, if you just tilt this one in case of the vertical one, then the stages are starting from top to bottom, 1 2 3 like that. Then the bottom one is n, so bottom will be the raffinate and the top one will be the extract. Similarly, in a continuous distillation column, you can see that the top one will have high temperature, that means high energy level, that means the separating agent will be very high at top, and at low it will be very less. So similarly you can see here also. But however, let us say that this is called multi-stage counter current extraction cascading system. Cascading system means there will be a train and you have a number of compartments. This each round indicates one compartment, and each compartment again will have a two different operations like mixing and settling. Mixing, settling, mixing, settling. So it is a continuous operation, you can say that. So you can just see the notation which I have used, FXF R1 X1. So this is a usual notation which you can easily understand that. And similarly SYS, and coming to this one E1 Y1. So if you make this one into the two envelopes, one envelope is keeping all the cascading systems in a single cover, that is a envelope 1, and the second one is keeping the certain, with the notation of n and last one. So this is the envelope 2. So for envelope 1, if you do the material balance, F is a entry and S is also entry to the first envelope. So F plus S will give you the E1 as well as Rn. E1 plus Rn. So E1 is output and Rn is also output. This is the quantities of the phases which are coming out from the cascading system. Okay, if you mix all together, then M may result. So let us discuss M later. So M indicates F plus S or E1 plus Rn. And also if you do the solute balance, both ends, and you know that F into XF is input of the solute into the envelope 1, and S into YS is the solute input along with the solvent into the envelope 1. So that may split into the Rn into Xn, then E1 into Y1. So that will be again equal to M times of Xm. Okay. So you'll get two different equations. One is total balance equation and another is solute balance equation. And if you take this envelope, see in this envelope is somewhere nth stage, small n, to the last stage. The last stage is capital N. So you can do again the same type of material balance here. So which is entering into this one, Rn minus 1 plus this side S. Then you get here En, then here Rn. So this is the equation you'll get. And this is the solute balance for the envelope 2. So what does it indicate? It indicates a very important conclusion we can arrive by seeing this one. What is that? For example, you see E1 minus F. So when you write E1 minus F, so that will be equal to S minus Rn. So from this equation, excluding M, you can write down E1 minus F. Bring the F this side and take Rn that side. You will get E1 minus F is equal to S minus Rn, which is a delta. Let us say this is some difference. Some difference. What is the difference? Here, if you see the input minus output, maybe you can say that is the accumulation at this end. E1 is entering, F is entering, E1 is coming out. So the difference delta, and this side S minus Rn, that is equal to the difference delta. Okay. So this differences here, whatever goes in, whatever comes out, the quantity goes in, the quantity comes out. So what is the difference of these quantities indicated by delta? That is equal to the whatever comes in out and whatever is going in. So this difference. So that is seen from these equations. And similarly here also you can see En minus Rn1 is equal to S minus Rn. What is S minus Rn? S minus Rn is delta. That means if you take any stage here, you have taken here En minus Rn. So that is also equal to the delta. So what does it indicate? If n is any stage, for example, second stage you take. If you take the second stage, E2 minus R1 is again equal to delta. E3 minus R2 is again equal to the delta. So that means at any stage, this equation follows. So the delta is having very important role. So what is happening in each stage in a multi-stage countercurrent extraction? While they are meeting in the first stage, so this much quantity is being exchanged between the two phases. So that is how you should understand. And this will be very much useful to us. How it will be useful? For example, if you see here, and we will be using this delta for the estimation of the number of stages which are required. For example, if you have initial concentration which is to be treated with that, and the final concentration which is to be left over in the raffinate, if you know these two things, then you can able to find out from the material balance C1 Y1, and also the number of stages required for the removal of that one. So that can be found out. For example, here you see, I will again give you the animated graph. Here you have a ternary system, and in which this is the feed which is used, and this is the solvent which is available to you. So this height, this vertical height indicates XF value. This, so that you should remember, the F is has been obtained on that way. Then again, you know the final concentration in the raffinate. The final raffinate will have this much concentration. So Rn point here, F point here, and S point here you can put, and M can be calculated, and that can be established here, and you will get the E1 on this way. Now F plus S, M can be extended to this, and then Rn, see what you have seen in the previous case, F minus E1 will give the delta. Okay, so F, this is the F, and this is the E1. F minus E1 will give you the somewhere delta. How do you find out this delta? Again, Rn minus S. So Rn minus S you can extend here, so that this intersecting point is delta. So that is how the delta will be obtained. So you know the initial concentration, and this would be the final concentration. So you are reducing down to this value to this value. Then now see how many number of counter current stages are required. So here E1 will be equivalent with R1. So you have to draw one tie line from E1 point. So this is the tie line point which we have drawn. Then again minus R1 minus somewhere here E2, R1 minus E2 is equal to the delta. So when you add R1 and delta on this binodal curve, you will get the E2. See. So when you add R1 and delta, somewhere you have got E2 here. So from the E2, again, you can draw one more tie line. So you will get the R2. Okay. This is how you will get the R2. Then again R2 and delta add such that you will get E3. So you will get somewhere E3. So again you can add further to get the another tree. So how many stages are there? 1, 2, 3. 3 stages are required to reach from except to xn value. Except to xn value, you require 3 number of stages. So this is how you can find out. Again, let us see this one. I'll tell you. Yeah, all of you know that this is a ternary diagram, and Fs is the line which is called a feed line. So you know XF value here and S value here. So the first point which you have to draw is to find out either E1. If you know the Y1, you can able to find out E1. But usually this Rn can be put on the binodal curve. How do you put? Because you have to know the lower concentration. That means the concentration in the raffinate. So initially feed is having this much concentration, it has to be reduced to this one. So that is how you will get this value. So if you get this Rn and M can be extended to the on this line, so that you will get the E1. How do you get the M point on Fs line? You know that from the, see, if you know M into Xm, so that is equal to Fxf plus Sys. These values are known. these values are known. So xm is equal to f into xf plus s into ys divided by m. M is again equal to f plus s. Therefore, you can calculate the xm. Once you calculate the xm, then the vertically you should see how much percentage of it. Then you can put the m point. So m point can be obtained. Then Rn and m can be extended to that so that you will get the even. So that is how you will get the even point. Once you get even point, now delta point you have to obtain because it is common to all the stages. So you will get by drawing two lines. F and even can be extended. R and S can be extended such that delta is obtained. Then E1 will be equivalent with R1. So draw one tie line between E1 and R1 so that this side R1 will be obtained. Then add R1 and delta so that here you will get the E2. This is the E2 point. From the E2 again you draw one more tie line. Then add these two. Then you will get the third stages. So this is how you will get the number of stages. So total number of stages required to reduce the concentration from xf to xn is 3. Okay. So these are like that. In all the stages you can find out. This is the fs and this is E1 Rn. Then f and E1 will give the delta and RNS will give again a delta point. Then draw. This is the each stage operating lines. Then these are the tie lines which will draw. So this estimating the tie lines are very important in this. Okay. So this is how you can find out the number of stages. So to estimate the tie lines, you can use this curve. You have a XY curve now, so you know how you have estimated there in the HXY diagram. In the similar way, you can find out this one. Okay, so this is one method by which you can able to find out, because this delta is coming this side. If you draw the rectangle triangle, but here it is coming other side. If you draw this diagram, this will come this side, delta R. Okay. Why it is coming delta this side? Because this is a extract phase and this is a raffinate phase, and you are having more values here, so it will come this side. Okay. So this is how you will get the number of stages in counter current multi-stage extraction. And coming to estimation of the minimum solvent requirement in counter current extraction, like in a continuous distillation column, the estimation of R minimum you have found out. Here, what you have to do is, I have taken here the rectangle, triangle, and there is a the binodal curve on that, and you have a S point here and a F point here. Okay, then E1 is this side, so you have to draw one pinch point. So you know that all of you that how to draw the pinch point. These are the tie lines. If the operating line goes through the tie line, but that means the equilibrium line, both will coincide, then you will get the pinch point. So you see these are the different tie lines. So you have to select JK, FJK is the one line which is going through the F. But if you take very nearer to that one, this is a nearer to this JK line, nearer JK tie line, this is the tie line, which is very nearer to this one. Then this is the delta R per minimum. So from this you can estimate S by F minimum is equal to FM. FM, you will have some M point here by MS, because M will be coming this side. So Fm by Ms will give the that one. Otherwise, you can substitute in the equation and you can find out the minimum solvent requirement for the counter current extraction. Okay. So that while you are doing the problem, you can able to know that. But now another concept which one should understand is that if A and B are completely immiscible in each other, then again you can draw a lines x prime to y prime, and this is the equivalent curve. Then see, A by B is equal to y1 prime minus ys prime. Okay, this is the input minus output divided by x prime minus the xnp prime. So in between these points, y1 prime and x prime, this is one point, and ys prime and xn prime, this is another point. Then you have a line with the slope of a by b. Then you can find out the number of stages as you are finding the continuous distillation column. This is the operating line, this is the equilibrium line. In between you can able to draw that. For example, for this case, how to find out the minimum solvent as you have done in the previous case. So you know this point, and this is a standard point because this is the feed point. So if you go on adding, only the y1 value will change. So if you add less solvent, then you will go going away from this one, because a by b is lesser, so it may come like this. So this is the pinch point. You can add this one, you can add these 2 points. So this is a one operating line which you can draw by using the pinch technology, so that you'll get one line here. Sorry, not there, here. Yeah, you just x prime will go up, and you draw these 2 lines, so that you'll get a by b minimum. So in that way, the b minimum solvent requirement per 1 kg of the solvent can be estimated. So this is a, like, in absorption, counter current absorption, and stripping, you have already known this procedure. So again, by assuming that the equilibrium line is having a curve is having a constant slope, so that it will become a straight line, that a slope is y prime star by x1. So m prime is the slope of the equilibrium line, and then this equation can be used to find out np, and where m prime b by a is the extraction factor. So this is analogous to the Kramser-Brown equation, which you have estimated in the absorption. So Kramser-Brown type of equation can be used to find out the extraction factor. Initially find out the extraction factor, substitute here, so that you will get number of plates which are required to reduce the xm prime to xn prime, in which case the A and B are completely immiscible in each other. So that is the condition. And another condition is that the equilibrium curve should be a straight line. It no more a curve. It should be a straight line. So in that case, you can use this one, Kramser-Brown equation, and find out the number of stages which are required. Okay. So very easy to estimate if A and B are completely immiscible. So with this, I'll stop.